And welcome back to episode 81 of the On Paid and Underrated podcast, a podcast by crew for crew. I'm one of your hosts, Big Keith, and I'm joined as always, by my buddy Big Joey.
Hey,
And we got a special guest this week, Mr. Ryan E.
How's it going?
Good guys, good guys. So how is everyone doing today? Just to go ahead and dive right in with what are you drinking? What are you drinking over there, Ryan?
Got some chocolate milk.
Ooh. Do you have any pizza to
I do not.
chocolate milk and pizza? Like I thought milk and pizza was pushing it.
That's a little crazy.
I think chocolate milk would be I think chocolate milk and food would be better because my logic on why chocolate milk with like any food would be better is because you could look at this chocolate milk as like the dessert, and then like who doesn't like having a little bit of food and a little bit of dessert kind of back and forth, whereas me and milk, like I don't think I've ever, I don't know that I've in my adult life if I've drank a cup of milk like as a drink with a meal.
My wife used to say in our earlier days when I was partying a lot more often, she could tell exactly how hungover I was by whether or not I drank milk in the morning. Because I would get up and be like, I need that calcium, I need those vitamins. Otherwise, though, I drinking milk from other animals doesn't sit well with me. And chocolate milk itself is. But strawberry milk, yeah, we've been over this before. Strawberry milk is the only milk I actually really enjoy.
Okay.
Chocolate milk sends me to the washroom immediately.
So you're drinking strawberry milk tonight then?
No, I've got juicy ass.
Oh, juicy. I don't know what that is.
It is a strong IPA.
Okay.
I found out that my weekly conference call is canceled tomorrow morning. So I'm celebrating because I hate those.
Lucky.
I hate weekly conference calls so much. I hope my boss, yeah, I've already actually gone over this with him. If there's ever a reason I quit any job, it will be over weekly conference calls.
Right. You can't beat getting that good news at the end of the day. I'm knocking out a mango bubbly. That's pretty good. I think I'm running out of bubbly flavors, so I'm gonna have to hit up the grocery store and find some other variety pack of something for the weeks coming forward.
I've got a PC cola that I should have brought over. Because it's like the one that they drank on the podcast, the root beer, but it's cola. And it's awesome. Like when I want that cola flavor without the sugar, awesome. But I'm not drinking no water right now.
I think someone recommended, I think I either saw it, I either was Googling like flavors or something, or someone said it in the Discord, but there is like an American sourced one that you can find on Amazon, but it was like I couldn't find it local anywhere, and on Amazon it was like $30 for a 12 pack or something. And I'm like, I don't know that I'm gonna risk $30 for a maybe, but yeah, I do like the idea of
Just drive up here.
yeah, we are a lot closer than I thought.
Can I tell you? I was in St. Catharines today, and then I went into Niagara Falls, and I didn't drive more than like an hour and a half. And I believe Nate put it in the Discord. You and I are physically closer than Tommy and Tanner.
Which makes me chuckle. Yeah, no, I'm to get to Niagara Falls, it's hour 45 for me, give or take, maybe hour 50, like
Yeah.
somewhere in that realm. So
About the same.
yeah, so under 4 hours, which is weird because I think he was saying we were the math doesn't make sense because they were saying we were like under 3 hours, but I don't know. There's got to be a quicker.
It's probably about that. Well, yeah, because I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is I see Ryan more than I see you.
Well, I'll see you next year at the Live Hard Live Easy Classic, hopefully. But that yeah, you have been did you so as your second meeting with Big Joey, did you have a better time, worse time, same? Oh, okay, third, well, second time in Canada though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If you're not counting the Live Hard Live Easy.
It was a little better, a little more familiar. Just more us guys and not the kids and the wife and everyone. Chummier, I guess.
Yeah, we had some cigars and some brewskis and some chicken wings.
Nice. So, what is I'm actually really jealous of your shirt tonight, Ryan. As we dive into what's everyone wearing, you want to tell everybody what that beautiful shirt is you got?
I have the blacked out bench heavy tee with the lift shorts.
Oh, nice. Oh, you
My
went
original purchase.
Oh wow.
From S&M's.
I actually can't find my silkies, and I'm actually getting a little bummed about it. Yesterday I was deadlifting. I was actually doing block pulls, and it kept catching on my shorts, and I got all mad and just took off my shorts. And in my head, I was just like, God, if I had my silkies right now, this would be so much better. but I'm fairly certain they're in this pile here next to me.
Yeah, I did see you said you were deadlifting in your underwear yesterday and then benching in the dark tonight. You just really enjoying the perks of that home gym.
Well, yeah, deadlifting in my underwear, like I said, like my shorts kept catching, and because they're block pulls, it's like a
Oh
little
yeah,
heavier than you'd normally do. So you're just dragging them up your thighs,
yeah.
and then they were just catching. I was like, forget them. I don't even need them. And then today, I was just like, I didn't want to work out. I was so tired and in such a bad mood. I haven't seen the sun in like 24 hours, and I was like, I don't want to do this. And I went downstairs, and I just could not have a single light on and actually focus. So we put on some death metal and we did the bench.
Nice. Nice. I'm actually wearing a Massonomic shirt this time. I think it's been like a month since I feel like I've had one on for the episode, but I'm rocking out the blue Jefferson deadlift tee. So it's as I've gained a lot of weight the last 6 months or so, I got like three shirts that fit currently. So I definitely need to take advantage of the upcoming drop this week and buy a couple shirts that fit me.
I was also up weight today, and I assume it's just because I'm actually paying attention to my creatine and not just like taking it when I remember, but taking it as I'm supposed to. And I'm actually I'm reaching a bit of overweight. But speaking of your next subject, I'm actually wearing a Lift Hard Be Kind shirt from Team Moose Mitch Hooper. I have two of his shirts, and I'm wearing one of them today because I thought today was a good day to wear that. Because
Yeah.
you want to talk about the Shaw Classic.
I selfishly wanted to touch base on it just as a way to kind of like pat myself on the back a little bit when I said that Mitch might have been overrated, but
No, not at all. No, not at all.
obviously, yeah, I mean, he couldn't beat a 47-year-old Brian Shaw, but I mean
At
that
Brian
was
Shaw's own event.
I don't know the meme that everyone was like resharing of like Brian Shaw giving himself the medal. That was pretty. I really did enjoy seeing that. But I mean, it was good for Brian to go out on top, regardless of if he literally catered the event to him and his strengths. But I mean,
of course he did. But so Mitch lost by 6 points.
Yeah,
by 6 points. Who was the closest in points, and by how many?
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, after that, I don't know.
So the third person placed 8. The third person placed 18 points behind Brian Shaw. So it's not like Mitch wasn't right there with him.
Yeah.
And either way, like, oh no, he placed podium in every event in the world. Oh, he's so overrated.
It was just more of I just wanted to poke the bear a little bit and kind of
you don't
have
poke the moose.
Have a little fun with that. Oh, I meant more you, just because you were so adamant. I don't know. I just thought it was a good time. But did anybody get a chance to watch the Hook Grip YouTube video today? And it's always hard to watch the videos the day that we record, just because, or like I barely get a chance to watch them, and I probably watch more YouTube than anyone on here.
I did.
What'd you think of that?
There's some good information there. Was that posted before, or am I just crazy?
I know it was like 4 o'clock today. I want to say that unless I'm misremembering the initial event, I could have swore it was supposed to be Friday, or I don't remember. Like maybe I just misread it, or maybe they had the date wrong. But I didn't think there was I didn't think there was supposed to be a YouTube drop today, and then all of a sudden, I was getting an alert for it. I was like, oh, that seems okay. But no, it was a good video. One of the hosts talked about just hook gripping and implementing that in your training and the benefits of it. And it was just a really good video. I'm an advocate for hook grip. I either go double overhanded or hook grip, or occasional straps if it's high reps. But it was always fun seeing something that I kind of correlates with me personally. So I've been really enjoying their YouTube, especially when it's something that you have a little bit of experience with yourself. But one little sneak peek we got from that was the shirt that he was wearing is going to be a shirt that's in the drop tomorrow. So I'm sure everyone, by the time you guys are listening to this, the drop already happened, and we all already bought it. But it was one of the funniest shirts and one of the funniest original parodies I think they've had so far. It's the powerlifting record holder T-shirt with then the caveat of like 30 different subdivisions underneath of it, ending with zodiac sign and
might as well just put my name on it.
Yeah.
Top powerlifter with my name, because but I guess that's what they meant by record breaking drop, right? Everybody was like, it was going to be vinyl. And I was like, what are they going to do? Release the song?
Yeah, there's no way they're gonna do maybe a vinyl sticker, or there's like a sticker pack with like a Massonomics record player and Tanner's going kind of a record guy on it or something. But I feel like that he hasn't really posted about being kind of a record guy in a while, so I don't know how relevant that would be anymore. But
Because he's a VCR guy now.
yeah, dude, that was actually. Did you guys? Well, we'll get into it a little bit later, but I did really enjoy him talking about the VCR stuff.
Well, it was me actually. It kind of plays off something that we talked about earlier. Remember when I explained the candle story and how I was being stupid and my best friend Jay was watching me and then was like, "Why did I think that that was the right thing to do?" It kind of harkens to Tanner being like, "I have 2 VCRs," and we're like, "Hell yeah, we support your VCRs," and not a single one of us asked why. And finally, Tommy was like, what? Why? And we were all like, wait a minute, yeah, why? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But at the time when he posted it, we were all just like, yeah, VCRs, man, that's the way to go. We just started talking about VCRs as if that was a normal thing for any human to do in 2023 was collect VCRs. What's my brain on right now, eh?
So you just keep seeing Ryan, and all you do is remember all those cigars you guys smoked last weekend. And you're just harken back to the good old days.
Yeah, when the guest is on, we'll talk about that.
That's true. So let's see. I want a brief story today. It kind of going into how shitty of a day I had. Basically, yelling. This would be a little like 90-second topic here. As adults, yelling at other adults, like how much. It's the most pointless thing in the world to do. I got yelled at by a customer today for no reason. From my point of view, for no reason. She was just yelling to yell and to try to assert her dominance and authority in the situation where she really was in the wrong the whole time. And I'm just like, I'm a 38-year-old man, and you're yelling at me like I'm gonna kowtow to you or be impressed or like bend over backwards and let you dictate how I run my crew and my team and like run the show. I was just like. I just kind of thought about it for the rest of the day. Just going like, yelling at people is the most pointless thing in the world because I immediately just think you're a big child and I don't respect you or take anything you say with any value whatsoever. Like like adults yelling at other adults. I don't, outside of maybe like sporting teams or something like that, or like yelling to motivate someone, like yelling in a negative manner. I found it to be. I was baffled. I haven't been yelled at in like 5 years or more probably, and I was just like. This just doesn't like what are you trying to do? Like this isn't going to go well for anybody. So I don't know. That was my yelling, story of the day. And I kind of
in my job, man. You guys know what I do. I don't talk about it a lot, but it is a common occurrence that people think that they can talk down to somebody like me. The only reason you're talking to me like this is because this name tag stands in between me and you.
Mm-hmm. If
you saw a guy that looked like me on the street, you would never talk to me like that. And I've actually said that to them. I've literally told them, like, the only reason you think you can do that is because I'm wearing this name tag. And I'm going to tell you something right now. You need my help. And you're talking to me like this. And I'm not so inclined to help. So why don't you calm down and we'll work to a solution together. And it's kind of that Bane thing when he puts his hand on the guy's shoulder and says, do you feel in charge? That's what you're doing to somebody when you do that. But no, you're right. I've had people, I could go off. I could tell you for hours the type of things people say to me when they'll make up something in their head and then yell at me for not delivering it. And I'm just like, it was never on the table. That was never an offer. Oh, I read it online. Yeah, but it's not what I wrote down on the quote sheet to give you. So you can't have it because it was never on the table. And then they'll yell and scream and threaten to go to my superiors. Like, I'm telling you, man, it's more of a reflection of their insecurity and their poor ego than it is of you.
Well, then I don't know, but that was my story. So I will skip the IG polls then if I'm in and out too much because that would take too much recapping.
Oh, I saw your IG polls. I saw your IG polls. and I'm just gonna say one thing. I just want to put one proximity on what your IG polls said. If I walked into a bodybuilding gym tomorrow and said, guys, we should all deadlift, and they would all go, no, the risk to reward ratio is too high. That's called a confirmation bias. So your little polls there were put out to the people that would normally agree with you. The scientific community does not agree.
We're specific. Now we're talking about Nate being technically a guy, right? Is that what we're
Yeah.
talking about?
No, no, your salad and sandwich one. You were so riled up. And
I actually screwed it up at first. Did you guys see that I had soup and salad, I think, at first, and then I deleted that and had to go back and edit it to or post a whole new one as sandwich and salad because I was like, shit, it wasn't soup and yeah.
No.
So.
But it's also really funny because it goes back to the last episode of Massonomics where it's talking about just having a really strong opinion about something utterly petty and useless. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm in. Like, I'm gonna dig my heels in on this one.
It's fun though. I mean, that's what half the like. If neither of us had opinions about anything, what the fuck would we talk about? You know, it's like it would just be two yes men. Like I'm not a yes man, so I don't know.
Should we talk about the four horsemen of the Jorts Apocalypse?
Oh yeah, you guys were looking pretty stellar out there.
Jortastic.
Ryan, tell them about it. Tell them what we did.
The other Ryan kind of started off. His girlfriend took a picture of him and his looking spectacular in his jorts and fanny pack and shirt, and kind of went from there.
Well, so about 4 days before that, I had a picture of myself in some smaller shorts and a sleeveless shirt and a fanny pack. And then as I was going to a restaurant, I happened to catch a preview of myself, not a preview, a reflection. And I just went, quit being such a fucking stereotype, dude. Because like you got your pit vipers and your traps and your sleeveless shirt and you just walk and thought it was so funny. And then a couple days later, Ryan posted that. And then I posted originally with the other shorts and Ryan. And then Megan Stone posted a picture of her and Tyler Stone, and he's wearing sleeveless shirt, jorts, Massonomics, fanny pack. And then I was like, this is getting out of hand. Like, this is starting to become a uniform. And then you sent me a picture of you in yours, which I thought was really funny. But then it turns out everybody was like, well, you're not wearing jorts, so it doesn't count. So I had to go. It's not like I wasn't going to wear them anyway, but I just made sure I got a picture. So now Nate called that the four horsemen of the Jorts Apocalypse. I should call it the four liftsmen of the Jorts Apocalypse, but shout out to all of them. And if you guys are out there and you're wearing the uniform, send it because I think we can make that a big picture.
That'd be cool to make that a huge collage. So I was at physical therapy tonight, and I heard like the guy talking to one of the other people there, and they couldn't think of the word fanny pack, and they were trying to describe it. And I think one of them said a belt bag.
A belt bag.
Yeah, and I was just like, and like I didn't process they were talking about a fanny pack at first yet, and then it was like another couple seconds later, like, are you guys talking about fanny? Did you just call a fanny pack a belt bag? And I was just like, it really made me chuckle just because how much fanny packs are just in the lore of Massonomics and everything, and just the living community. So I was just like, you guys didn't know what a fanny pack was called?
Well, I've been wearing them since before I became a father. Like the week or two before Oren was born. I thought this is my last chance. I'm going to Canada's Wonderland because they had just released the Yukon Striker, the North America's longest free fall roller coaster. I was like, I'm going to that before there's kids and I can't. And my buddy was like, yeah, bring a fanny pack, trust me. And I was like, what? Nerd, I'm not doing that. And then I thought about it and was like, I'm going to do that. And I don't think I have taken my fanny pack off since. It has been 4 and some odd years.
Nice.
Ryan, you're going to say something?
Just for the record, I call it a belt bag. But
Nice. Did you have you got that term copyrighted yet for your own profit?
I should, yeah. Oh,
Maybe it'll be too late, but you'll have basically between now and Tuesday to get it all dialed in.
Well, when you say Fanny, you're going to get one of the Davids all riled up.
That is really funny how Fanny over there means what the C word over here and vice versa kind of thing. So I always get it.
Well, yeah. Well, no, because they say Fanny over there like all the time.
But I think when they say Fanny, they mean like vagina, not.
Yeah. But also like the C word is used over there like sparingly. Like they're not sparingly like all the time. I think that is a fun word and we should say it more often too. But that's political.
I pull it out every now and then, but you gotta be really comfortable in the room you're in before you
Oh yeah,
let that word fly.
and you never use it at somebody like when you're trying to hurt them.
Oh yeah.
Right. We've got to ease that word back into our society. We've got to ease that in to like inanimate objects first. And then you can and then you can kind of spare it out into the world.
We can all just start calling our VCRs that, those are inanimate objects, and that takes us to our that rounds out our last general topics thing. We can go ahead and rate last week's episode. Ryan, what did you think of last week's 2-hour just them shooting the breeze episode?
It was good. A lot of good questions in there. A little disappointed to hear that the Massenomics G string won't be a thing. So I was really kind of hoping for that, but the question didn't get answered or asked, so it's kind of disappointing on that. So, but overall, I'd probably give it a 5.
Nice, that's a good rating. Well, you do have access to the a couple other hosts. Was there any questions that you wanted to ask? The question that you asked them that they ignored blatantly and rudely. Is there anything that you want to ask us?
I thought that was the end of I thought we did that at the end.
Well, no. So I meant specifically the question that you asked them. Is it something that we could answer, or is it the other host specific? I just want you to feel heard. Your question that didn't get asked on the other podcast. Our sisters ignored you. We won't. What was your question?
Wow. Get it out there. Yeah, put it out in the world.
So I was going to ask, actually I didn't ask the question, so I'll just make
Jesus Christ. You just let me go on a 90-second monologue about our sister podcast, shooting down.
Roped you in good. That's good work.
Making me look like an asshole. Thanks, buddy.
That's good work. Yeah, it's rare that Tanner gives you a hard no on anything, right? Like it's very rare that when something is asked like that, he doesn't go like maybe in the future one day, and then he was just like, no, that's never gonna come up. That was pretty funny. The pea gravel conversation thing was genuinely hilarious. I especially like them dancing it around who introduced the pea gravel concept, because I think we all know who that was. And it was nice of them to kind of just be like, well, we don't want to hurt any feelings because it's fucking me. And it's like that was pretty funny. Go ahead.
Did you ever answer which is heavier, 10 pounds of gravel or 10 pounds of sand? Because I think we still need answers for that.
Well, I think only scientists can answer that. I think I know an engineer. He might know. Their engineers do things like that. Beyond that, like I think I'm about 3/4 of the way through the episode because it's literally just 2 hours of episode.
It's long.
But based on what I've heard, I'm pretty excited this week, guys. I think I'm gonna give it a 5. 5 Jenny powers.
That'll definitely bring up your average from what you usually give them. So this was the episode I think I talked about last week because it was very fresh because when we were recorded, I had just listened to the entire episode the night before, and I think it had to be at least going until 11:30 or something, Eastern Standard Time. So it was a really great listen live. I always enjoy the episodes where they're somewhat interactive with the Discord live. There was a lot of times they gave shout outs to people talking or just gave, there was interaction specifically to that. And I think my favorite part was the VCR chat because what Tanner's doing right now is something that I did 3 years ago during COVID. I took because I literally had a box of VHS tapes from like high school football that I wanted to get made on digital copies, and then I could upload them to YouTube because I think what started it all was one of our old high school coaches in a Facebook group was like, if you guys have any old game tapes, throw them up on YouTube for us. So then I was like, well, how the hell do I do that? And then you buy the $40 converter. And I already had a VCR laying around because I still kept my VCR specifically if I ever wanted to watch, which I hadn't watched it in 20 years. But, I pulled them out and spent days just playing all the videos and transferring them over to MP4s and uploading them to YouTube. And to this day, I still am not completely done uploading them to YouTube, but I do have them all converted, and I think I have like half a season left to throw up on YouTube. That just takes forever. But overall, the whole episode, there was some. I wish I wish they had talked a little bit more about the pea gravel, But other than that, I'd go ahead and give it a 5 this week. Five JDs.
So, with everything we talked about how Tanner posted the VCRs and we all just acted like it was natural, I think one of my favorite parts about this is that if he had just simply said something at some point, you would have had all the advice. Yeah, because you already did this, and he wouldn't have had to go through whatever he went through, getting quotes and finding the source and finding the data. If he had just simply said, "Hey guys, I'm looking to do this," and you had answered. So I think that's pretty funny.
During the live, I actually, because he was describing what he had bought and he hadn't opened it yet. Like he had just bought it off Amazon, and he was describing the name, like the brand, and I was like, pretty sure that's what I have, and I know exactly where I had my converter pack, like the box it was still in, and so I went and got it and took a selfie with it. And he wasn't sure when I posted it in the Discord, like during the podcast, if it was a photoshopped or not, but it was like I sincerely took the photo in my bedroom, like live, and he was kind of like, oh wow, that he really does have the exact one that I have in my hand. So that was just the nostalgia aspect of that whole thing, like that just made my night.
Ryan, you were going to say something there.
Oh, I think he did make a post about finding some home movies or something from his parents. So I wasn't really questioning his motives or whatever, but
well, there we go.
Yeah.
With a Discord this active.
Yeah, it's very active.
It's a wonder we don't repeat ourselves.
Never.
Yeah, it's very hard to keep up to date with all that jazz. But that rounds out the general topics, and we're going to get into a little sponsor read. Does Mr. Ryan want to do a sponsor read for us this week?
Oh, it's me. 1 second here. I'll find it.
If you were wondering why I was just flexing at you, it's because Ryan was flexing during the chat, and we were just I don't know why. I think I scratched my face and he thought I was flexing, so I was just like, well like I'm in. Today was all upper body. Like
I did scratch my face today so bad at work. I basically when my colleagues set a ladder above me when I was bent over, like getting something off the floor, and I stood right up into the feet of a ladder and about took my fucking eye out, and I had like this big gash on my right next to my eyelid. So that was fun.
When I actually noticed a change in the way I drink water in public now, because I'll drink with one hand and then I'll hold the other arm up like I'm doing the bodybuilder pose. And it's like completely not on purpose. Well, it wasn't at first, and now it is. And like the one arm will just come up and kind of flex while I'm drinking the water. And that was pretty funny. All right. Are we ready?
All right, here we go. Jump on in. In the early to mid 2000s, a group of young men began lifting weights in West Northeast South Dakota. Eventually, they settled on lifting at Aberdeen YMCA, known for its plentiful supply of toilet paper. In 2014, they thought it'd be kind of cool to have a YouTube channel. After some confusion over the name, a week later, a logo was created. In 2015, having outgrown the current gym, a group of powerlifters and CrossFitters looked at gyms with the intent of changing them for the better and opened Massonomics Gym. In 2016, two guys and another guy who literally just met one of the other two guys bought their first set of podcasting equipment and began addressing the known issues with fitness podcasts, with a purpose to help the fitness community get strong, stay strong, and use their strength. The guy set out to basically talk about gym stuff, and the Massonomics podcast was born. It's a podcast you listen to with your ears. The best part is, with the best guests and the silliest geese, self-proclaimed lifting podcast about nothing is like an overwhelming relief of successfully evacuating your bowels after being constipated. Hundreds of overrated, underrated, JD Power-related topics have been discussed both with and without druthers. So grab the piping hot LaCroix. Ow, ooh, ah, ah. Put your tray tables up and make sure your seat is in an upright and locked position as Massonomics takes you up for a 10,000-foot view. New episodes on YouTube Sunday at 7 Eastern, 6 Central.
Nice. Well done. Thank you, Ryan.
So for those of you who can't see the video and we didn't hear the crack of the can,
Oh,
that was not Ryan doing a monkey impression halfway through his ad read. He was juggling a can like it was piping hot.
Yeah.
Ooh, ah, ah. We're like, what? Ting tang, walla walla bing bang. Like, what? All right. Let's kick everybody out. Get our guest on the horn. What do you think?
Yeah, he's been in that waiting room. Let's see if we can get him in there.
All right. Big Ryan, is that you?
kind of late. Keep a guy waiting. Jeez.
It's what we do.
How's it going, guys?
Appreciate your patience.
That's payback for being late to our meetup.
Ah, sorry.
Poor me had to have an extra beer sitting there waiting for you at the pub.
It's the traffic up there, man.
It's terrible. And you're like, should I take the toll road? And I'm like, no. It's like a 30. I will have the $6 beer while you don't spend $30 to save the 10 minutes. Like, that's out of hand.
That's insane.
It's really $30. You're being overreactive. Like it's legit 30.
So I've never spent more than $34 on the 407 ETR. But it's always in the range of $30. And I think it's just because the camera fees equal more than your mileage fees. So if you don't have a transponder, so when he messaged me, he's like, should I just take the toll? I was like, no, don't. Like, it's when I think I said it on the podcast one time, when I took the I-90, I think across New York, is it the I-90?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to easy. Yeah, it's I-90 and it's easy pass down here. I don't know what it is up there.
$3. It probably cost them more to mail me the envelope to Canada than it did that they were going to collect from me. And in a shorter time on the 407, it was 30 something dollars I get. So
that's bad.
He was a little late, and I showed up and I was like, well, I'm 2 beers deep. Let's have a cigar.
Well, we know what took you to Canada. It was Big Joey. So, but what brought you to Massonomics there, Ryan?
I'm trying to remember how I found them. I think it was Swim Hack. I think I followed him and he was posting about like the most expensive shorts and some of the shirts. I'm like, what's all that about? So I gave Massonomics a follow and kind of tried getting in some of the jokes and stuff and the memes, and made my first purchase of their stuff May 7th, 2020, which is actually what I got on now, and kind of went from there.
I feel like the crew had to like double. Well, we weren't even crew then, but I feel like the people that are in crew right now, at least 40% of us probably came in COVID-y times, I'd imagine. I know that's when I came in. So it seems like a very common story there.
I take offense there. There's a different word, not offense, but I take offense there because I think we were always crew.
Crew, yeah. Deep down, we just didn't know it yet.
Yeah, crew is not. What is it? Crew is not made. Crew is born. You will just find your way here eventually. Oh, don't say that one too often. That's actually about a completely separate thing that I just stole. Mm-hmm. Don't put that on the shirt.
The irony of you stealing something from someone when we've been the victims of that as of late.
Yeah.
So, but when was that about the same time you got into listening to the podcast too? I know that's when you more or less when you started following the IG page and buying their stuff, but did you kind of deep dive right into the podcast at the same time?
It was like a couple months later. So it was like in the early 200s I started in. 220 or something in there.
Gotcha. So just so everyone knows who we're talking to, do you want to go and introduce yourself and give us your name, your Discord, your IG handle, all that stuff, just so people just tuning in right now can know who's chatting?
Excuse me. Ryan, my Instagram is Angry Monkey. Facebook is just my name, Ryan Erickson. Not much going on there, but that's pretty much it. Just Instagram. I'm also active on Instagram, so posting silly vids and lifting stuff when I'm actually lifting. So,
what's your name on Discord? Because if you had them, if you told them what your avatar was, you change it every 2 days, so that would be really good.
Yeah, keep you on your toes, man. It's a big _Ryan, one of the many Ryans in our Discord. It's catching up to the mats now, so.
Now, why Angry Monkey? Like, why are you so mad?
I was trying to remember what that was from. I think I was on some other forum, and I think I was using the evil monkey avatar from
Okay.
Family Guy. So I kind of just did a spin off of that.
It had nothing to do with your
So.
impression during the ad read.
No.
It's been a long game, and you've just been leading up to just doing that on this podcast.
Yeah. No, not that. So no, not a lot of anger. Just comic name. I don't want to change it because then I probably can't get it back. Someone else will take it or something.
Yeah.
I'm just that cool. I was a 2-plate poverty bench for a while on Instagram, and then when I was stuck around 2 plates, then I changed it back to Angry Monkey. So I was thinking about like adding Angry Monkey Fit because that seems to be the popular thing.
Adding fit to it.
Yeah, it really boosts my audience there.
Only if you start every Instagram post with a close up of your butt.
That's right.
Come bench with me, butt, and then just like some poverty bench, butt. Yeah.
Arm day.
as if for the listeners, he's showing us his ass as he's saying arm day as of
That's right.
as a typical Instagram model should and would do.
I'm going to do one thing we don't normally do, and just before we get into the next segment that I introduced last week, speaking of your history with Massonomics, Big Kevin wanted to point out in particular that when he first started becoming crew curious, he wanted to point out that you were one of the nicest, most welcoming people that made him really want to get further into the crew.
Oh, nice.
So when we were asking for questions, he said, I don't have a question, but I need to point this out that Brian was one of the for me, it was Scance as well. And I think we all had somebody like that got us into the cult. Like we were curious and then they pulled us in. So, he wanted to point that out, and I wanted to put that before the next segment.
Yeah, cool. Appreciate that.
So what piece of Massonomics merch do you wish you hadn't missed?
The Yeah Buddy shirt. Really wish I had that, the original one.
Yeah, me too.
That or the Buffalo one. Kind of like the looks of that one. Never did get that one. Waited too long to get that.
Raw power. Keith looks confused.
It's a ram, isn't it? No, was it
a buffalo?
Was it a ram?
It's a bison.
Was it a
bison? Bison is a buffalo.
Because they live in the Dakotas. They're known for their buffaloes.
Gotcha.
The buffalo mosquitoes.
The buffalo mosquitoes. You know what? With that segment, I bet the Yeah Buddy gets brought up a lot in that segment. Because I think there's a lot of us that came in just after the old cease and desist.
Mm-hmm. But you had mentioned South Dakota. Ryan was one of the few guys that didn't compete but still made the journey out there. How was your experience? How was meeting everyone? Just give us a rundown on what you thought about that whole weekend.
Yeah, it was a good time, a lot of fun. It was good to meet people. A lot of times you're not quite sure how people are in person. They're all very cool. Sorry if I was kind of standoffish to anyone. That's just kind of how I am until I get to know people, and then I get pretty silly goosey pretty quick. So watch out for that. Yeah, it was good. Well run meet. I've never competed before. I kind of fell into the video that one of the hosts put out about not waiting to compete, and I've waited to compete, and now I've got some issues, and I've got to work back up to competing. So, but going to the meet really made me want to go and actually compete, and hopefully the next Lift Hard, Live Easy will be my first.
It would definitely be a great first meet for many people.
I will probably compete at that as well. And I haven't watched these short videos that they release. Sometimes I just can't. Like I just don't have the time, right? I can't listen to them while I drive. But I gotta point out something I said the other day, that I just signed up for my third meet in December, and being able to say the sentence, I'm a competitive weightlifter, it just adds a different to me. As soon as I said that, I turned to my wife, and then I was like, it just occurred to me, I'm a competitive weightlifter. It kind of refueled getting into the, like today I didn't want to go to the gym. It kind of refueled that. It kind of just refueled that getting in there and getting to it. So, if you are waiting, Ryan, if you are thinking about it, even do a mock meet that's not sanctioned, because that was my first meet because I wasn't sure either. Right? Just it doesn't matter how much you lift as long as you lift how much you can. Anyway.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. That's half the reason for the last 7, 8 years, I've done 1 to 2 meets every year. And half of that reason, like competing is really fun sometimes, just having something to train for and keeping yourself honest. Like that's like, I need that. Like I have a meet, I'm doing a March meet, and then ideally we're going to do the meet in July again. So I'm already like, I got like another month or two of just fucking off doing whatever. And then I got to start a 12-week training block going into March. So
this meet is, so the last meet was at Apex Barbell in Burlington, and Steve was my handler because I did one without a handler, and I just said like, man, I need somebody, mostly just to think about my next lift so I don't have to. And when I told him I was signing up for this one in December, he was like, I'm in. So he also has signed up for this one in December. And like now we're talking to each other more about lifting than anything like before. And now we're just like, let's meal prep, like let's get this chicken going, like that kind of thing. That like before it was like, oh, I'm thinking about it. And now we're both like, we're just effing doing it. So speaking of Steve and speaking of Ryan's Lift Hard, Live Easy experience, what was it like riding on another Honda?
Riding on?
Yeah. No, writing, like writing.
Oh, writing. Yeah, it was. So for those that don't know, I went to Walmart and got a glass marker and kind of marked my car up with Massonomic stuff on there. And Steve was like, "Oh, hey, let me borrow that pen." And I'm like, "Sure, whatever." And then we were doing something, and he was gone, and I was there with the pen. I'm like, "Okay, I'll just mark up his car." And and then the next day at the meet, he was like, "You marked up my car." I'm like, "Yeah, because you mentioned it. I wouldn't do this if you had not mentioned it." And
yeah, he thought it was really funny. The two Honda Civics, the crazy fast cars parked next to each other.
Type R and the SI.
Yeah. And then he just comes out. He's like, "Look what happened." And I was like, "What?" Like, I'm groggy and tired. I was like, "What?" And I thought I died. I thought it was hilarious. Like, "You didn't do that?" He's like, "No." So he's like, we were on our way back, and then he's like, "I kind of want to wash it off, but I really kind of don't. I want everybody to know where we just came from."
Yeah, kind of helped to give them 500 miles of free advertising and however far you guys went.
Yeah, all the way up to Thunder Bay.
You came over from Iowa, right, Ryan?
Yep.
It was about 5 hours, you said. So that's not even. That's like
500 miles.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I for some reason shit. That's
It's 8 hours, 8 or 9 hours.
Eight's very doable in a day.
Yeah.
Did you? Because you just came up Friday and were basically there for Tanner's party, or?
Yeah, well, yeah, I kind of did in two parts. I came up or left my house Thursday, stopped at my in-laws cabin, Minnesota, and then left Minnesota to Aberdeen and showed up for the party Friday.
Gotcha. And you were wearing something a little special that night. That was you were wearing your prize shirt, your Frankenstein shirt you won a couple years ago, right?
Yes, to the zoo.
Oh, is that okay? Oh,
yep.
I could have swore you wore it Friday night, but maybe.
No, I think Damager wore his on Friday night.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you and Chris, you both,
we're pretty similar.
You both are you both are missing a similar element.
Follically challenged.
Yep. But so I did want to kind of touch base with you on that. So you won that shirt in a contest a couple years ago. It's an amazing shirt. It's really cool. I get that, but you gave up the opportunity to read an ad on the Mothership podcast, man. Like, how hard of a decision was that? Do you regret it?
No, I just don't really like publicly speaking or my voice in general. So it's kind of, that was an easy call. Kind of shy too. So
I get that, but like, damn, dude, that would have been like, because that was like pre, like call in episode, well, like call out episodes where like you text them your number,
Yeah,
and then they'll, I think that was, I'm pretty sure that was pre that, wasn't it? So like,
yeah,
it wasn't a common event for crew to actually audibly be on the podcast. So I think I
yeah.
would have had to go with the ad read just for like, because at the time it would have been like, I'm going to be the only crew on the podcast like forever. And then, now several of us have been on at least once or twice, for 30 seconds to 2 minutes kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
but it's a really cool shirt. So, I mean, it's hard to.
If it was now, I probably would have gone for the ad read, but I'm happy with the shirt. It's the first time I've actually worn the shirt, so just kind of keep it tucked away.
Did you have it up as like a wall hanger in the gym or anything, or you just straight up like just never touched it?
Yeah, it's just in a drawer, tucked
Gotcha.
away.
And that brings us into another question. Let's see. So I hear you have an undiagnosed issue that you suffer from, and it's social disgust that you and your buddy both suffer from together. Is that did you basically just have a hard time with the general public in general?
Yeah, just people in general kind of don't.
Yeah, human beings, they lie and they smell bad, and
Yeah,
that's what they do.
So would
people
you say
suck.
that being part of the crew the last couple of years has kind of brought you out of your shell a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. It's more interaction with people, so.
So speaking of shells, I kind of set myself up for that. You have a pet turtle?
It's actually my daughter's. Yeah, we got
Okay,
that
okay,
for her birthday this year.
nice.
She's really into turtles. She did like a school project on turtles and stuff, and just fell in love with turtles. Got a turtle, and it's yeah.
Now, does it actually have an aquarium, or is it just in like a card? Because I had a turtle. I had a couple different turtles, I think, growing up, but it was just like cardboard boxes, and then they would always get out, be a big to do to find.
Okay, no, it's enough. 40-gallon aquarium.
Oh, damn, that's big.
So yeah, it's cute little guy. He'll come up to glass and beg for food if he sees you, and
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've always had a sweet spot for turtles, honestly.
I like turtles.
So I have heard that your background as a mechanical engineer has kind of made you to where you like to overcomplicate stuff. And one of the things was was it the filtration system on your turtle's aquarium? Did I get that right, or do you have a fish tank maybe or something?
yeah, not overcomplicated, but
Well, I mean, somebody that gave me some information about you did like to word it that way. So I can only word questions as the data that I'm given.
so we bought this turtle kit. It's a 40-gallon aquarium with a filter, in-tank filter, and those in-tank filters just suck. You're always screwing with them, like if not daily, like weekly. They're clogging up. So finally looking into like the bigger canister style filters that go under the tank and then have the tubes that go in for suction and output. So it keeps it cleaner, but it's just trying to get the level, the chemical levels balanced and the bacteria levels balanced. Just trying to get it happy is the next kind of challenge there. I hear it's possible, but just kind of working towards that.
So you're tinkering, and you'll figure it out at some point. We hear you do like to tinker.
I do.
You got lots of projects going on in the garage, and so do you have like a 4-stall garage? Because I've heard about the multiple project vehicles
Yep.
in the garage. Plus, you have a whole entire garage stall as a gym.
Yeah, it's a full 4-car garage. Originally, when I set up the home gym, it was just kind of one spot, and I had 3 cars in the garage. I had a 65 Mustang, and I bought I think it was a 48 Studebaker Commander. That was kind of field fresh. I'm going to build this up and make it all fancy and cool, hot rod it out, and kind of sat in my garage for 10 years. I'm like, it's got to go. And then I was able to sell it for a whole $50 more than I bought it for. So, great profit.
There you go.
And then right now I got my mother-in-law's Model A that's sitting in my garage too. And then I also have my old white Honda Civic that I'm work on fixing up so I can drive in the winter. So, what kind of things going on?
So did you seem so basically as a car guy yourself, did you marry into a car guy family? If it's your mother-in-law's Model A, which is not a common car, if anyone's not familiar, it's like it's 100-year-old vehicle.
So yeah, my mother-in-law's husband, he was a pharmacist in small town Iowa, and he was big into collecting cars. He'd go off to like Hershey, Pennsylvania, and bring home a car. And they had like, I don't know, 12 cars or more at one point. And unfortunately, he passed away before I met my wife in 1993, I think. So then they sold off most of the cars, but they kept the Mustang, 65 Mustang. That was a anniversary present to her, so she kept that, and then she kept the Model A just because good memories with that. So now I have both of those cars. So
Nice, that's cool. So something that you could potentially hand down to some of your kids, 30 years from now.
Yeah.
So you got those cars from, you said, from your wife's family.
Yes.
And you still made her pay for the movie on your first date? How dare you?
And it was the dollar in the damn dollar theater too. So it's not like
young me was a little clueless on the dating scene. So yeah,
Who isn't?
it was.
I don't know what to do.
God, we were also stupid when we were younger. That's for sure.
What do you mean we're?
Yeah, I still have my moments. For
I
sure.
might be ugly and hateful, but what was that last thing you said?
So we know you've got a garage that has cars in it. It's got a gym in it. Is there a reason it is also full of miscellaneous fridges, though? What's the story there?
And which do you use more, the cars, the gym, or the fridges?
Fridge. Oh, I do have one fridge in there.
Only one?
21.
Did I get bad information?
I probably. So I got one.
From Big Fridge. Big Fridge really wanted you to come down on Ryan today.
Yeah, I got one from somewhere, and it's kind of, I use it used to make beer, so I use it to like kind of store the beer to get ready to drink, and I really need to fix it up and sell that fridge, but yeah.
I guess that falls under miscellaneous then. I think I interpreted it as multiple, and maybe it was just one random extra fridge. So you used to be a little beer maker. Is that something you still dabble in, or kind of put that behind you?
I will probably try again. I made like one good batch out of like 8 over the years, so it's kind of.
Then it's just like there's nothing worse than drinking. There's probably nothing worse than drinking shitty tasting beer, but when you know you made it too, it's just like self-deprecating every time you take a drink of it. It's like, God damn it, this sucks, and I'm a failure.
I have had other people's homebrew, and it's kind of similar tasting, so maybe it's not all me. So I don't know.
Yeah, homebrew, unless you're like really good at it, all tastes like socks.
Yeah.
Like there's no way. It tastes like nothing or socks.
Now, but does it taste like the right sock or the left sock?
Only you can tell that. Most of us are really ready for that.
It's good stuff. So at 43 years old, that puts you in the upper echelon of crew. I think you've got to be in the top 10, demographic there for the age group.
Yeah,
I mean, I pegged you as a mid to late 30s. Well, shit, I didn't actually peg you, but you know what I mean.
Hey now.
But yeah, you're right on Big Jen's tails there with the early 40s. And well, you're in Iowa, so have you had a meetup with Big Jen? You guys get? I mean, I'm sure Iowa's a large state, so I don't know.
Not yet. She's not too far away. She's like 2 hours away from me. So
yeah,
probably someday if I'm out in that area. Probably.
All right. So overrated or underrated? Staying up late with drunk Joey or drunk Jen?
Have to choose between you?
No, just how terrible was that?
Oh no, that was good. The worst part was I was getting alive in mosquitoes. That
We were
was
getting demolished on
that
that
was
patio.
next time bringing bug spray.
Oh, were you one of the American in staying guys?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so yeah, we stayed with the American, and he was our DD. So um we just kind of went running and went back to the patio, grabbed a couple drinks from the bar, and yeah, we just sat on that patio chatting about everything.
Yeah.
Just everything. Then I went up and grabbed some more beers to bring down because I still had all those Keats in the cooler. And
I brought some of those home.
And then I went to bed. I think I was the first to tap out, actually.
But yeah, it was a good time with the guys out there. So
Yeah, it was definitely a long day. As a competitor, I couldn't like it was a long enough day for me. I couldn't like I maybe it could have lasted a little longer if I hadn't lifted, but yeah, I don't know. It was just I don't know how some of you guys stayed up till 2, 3 in the morning that night. I had to fucking be up and catch the plane. I was a
Yeah, none of us had
no.
a 5 a.m. flight.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, Jen did, but Jen's a true.
Mm,
No.
she woke up early and drove. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
it was just it was me, Matt, and the Damagers, and then Oldham and his girlfriend, but they didn't wake up. So
Did they miss their
so
flight?
yeah, so they ended up. I actually got the whole because I only kind of got part of the story, but Big Lou was on the C Team podcast a couple weeks ago and kind of told the rest of it. But basically, they definitely just were just like, yeah, fuck it, we're not getting up at 5 a.m. to go catch the flights. They missed it, but then they could get another flight out of Omaha like the next day, I think. So or so Omaha, yeah, because that's where Big Lou is. So then Big Lou basically drove them to Omaha, and then they dropped them off the airport the next day, I think.
That was fun. They were fun as hell.
Yeah, it was a good. They were a good hang.
Okay. I've got one from one of the hosts. Not one of these hosts, one of the other hosts. FMK. Back injury, shoulder injury, or knee injury?
How do you marry an injury?
It's the one that sticks around the longest, my friend.
Yeah. That's how I would interpret it.
Trying to think how to phrase this. Dead silence.
Well, you're allowed to audibilize your druthers.
So oh yeah, I do have a persistent back injury. It's like a disc thing that I've had for a while.
You probably kill that.
Kill that. Shoulder, I dislocated that. Had to have it rebuilt, and it's more functional than expected, and it's getting better. So I guess I can marry that. And then knees are fine, so fuck knees, I guess.
There you go. Love it. Yeah, when we put up the post about the questions, 90% of them were asking about his injury, asking about his injury. I was like all right, like when we
Gantz
put
is
polls up,
old.
yeah, when we ask for questions,
Yeah.
it's not for the low hanging fruit that we already have. Like this one was actually the outlier of kind of being funny because it had some layers to it, but just ask him about hurting his shoulder, and I'm like, oh, okay, like it's in there, but it's like it's nothing special.
Yeah, I got a good story about that, but
Feel free.
We got time. We got time.
I'm gonna go for the whole shoulder story. So, my wife shaking her head. My wife.
I was waiting for somebody to say it.
They're waving to you over there. She's waving. So I was out with in-laws, and we're playing some badminton in the backyard, and hitting the old shuttlecock back and forth, as they do in the Midwest.
Nothing beats a good shuttlecocking.
That's right. Good shuttlecocking. My niece hits this far right shot, and it's over by this wood fence. And I'm like, that's too far over. I'm not going to get that. And then I was like, yeah, I'm going to go get that. I'm just going to stop on the fence. Everything will be cool. So I start going for it, and I avoid my son who's to my right. And I think that kind of started me tipping forward. I don't remember any of this, so I'm just kind of guessing. So going towards the fence, and what I didn't see is there was like a 2-inch, 3-inch edging, like 2 or so feet from the fence. What? They were planter boxes.
Oh no.
Oh, that would hurt.
I didn't see those, so I tripped into the fence with my arm up, and there was a very distinct pop. I remember, and then I woke up on the ground like, this is not good. So I can't hear you. What? So you kept telling her. Oh, apparently I kept telling her I was fine.
Yeah, well, that's what we do.
Right
She's
up
like,
until
no, your
surgery.
shoulder's hanging there. You gotta go to the doctor. So 7 hours in the ER.
Ooh.
First attempt to put my shoulder in, they like put me out on ketamine.
Oh,
And that was pretty trippy. Wife was saying that like you're like asleep, and then they grabbed your arm. There's 2 guys grabbing your arm, and then your head rose up and turned towards them like a Terminator, and she thought I was going to hit them.
Jesus.
He's a tall dude. I'd be afraid of that too.
And I remember
This is all high on ketamine.
yeah, and I remember kind of like figures talking about my arm or something, but I was like pretty disconnected from my body.
That's what ketamine does.
And then I was like just like floating in this void, and like some mix by Diesel Boy drum and bass was going on in my head. And I was just kind of floating out there, and then it's kind of started wearing off, and I was like looking through the matrix, like the lines, and I could see like figures, and then like I could start feeling my fingers again, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I still have a body. I'm not just floating out here. So I'll go back to my body, and then I woke up, and I'm like, is it in? Is it in? And I'm like, no, stay still. It's not in yet. Like, and they had to call in this orthopedic surgeon, and they put me out proper. Oh, they said that I was too muscular to put my shoulder in or something.
Mm-hmm.
So they're struggling with that.
Well, that makes sense, right? Like if they're messing with the tendons and stuff, and there's more than there's supposed to be.
Yeah. Oh, I guess somebody was sitting on my chest, and the other guy was working my shoulder, trying to pop it in. So they're giving it the business. So then they called in an orthopedic surgeon, put me out proper, and he got in. And he like walked out all cocky, like, look at me, I did it. And he ended up being the guy that fixed my shoulder in surgery. But I woke up from that, I'm like, is it in? And I'm like, don't move, it's in, it's fine, just don't move. And so
don't move. I want to test it.
Yeah, it wasn't good. So yeah, they got in. It didn't hurt at all once it was in. And then I had surgery a week later, and that's when everything was that was not fun. Waking up from that. The first thing I remember from surgery is like my armpit burned. I'm like, why does my armpit burn? And then I'm like, wait, this feels like razor burn. Did they shave my armpit too?
Well,
yeah. They like shave your chest and your arm, and that was fine. And then I guess they shaved my armpit in surgery and razor burned it, and then the drugs start wearing off, and that's where it all kind of gets crappy. And a week after that, I entered physical therapy, and that's where I found out that they also relocated the tendon out of my shoulder from my bicep to like prevent future arthritis, I guess. Because I got out of surgery, I'm like, why is my bicep all floppy? Like no one had mentioned that previously, I don't think so. But yeah, that's kind of my shoulder story, and working towards it. It was like April, that end of April it happened, and then mid-May had the surgery, and then working through physical therapy. Like beginning of July, I couldn't lift my arm like more than about parallel, and then finally, like in July, I could get it above parallel. So it was very weird, that switchover point, and then just kind of taking it easy and not trying to overwork it. So
that makes sense.
So as the home gym guy, I gotta ask, have you like are you able to train at all right now then? Like can you can you even like get into like can you get into a squat position and get your arms back far enough and all that, and like do regular bench?
Squat, no. I have a SSB for that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
It's pretty close to getting back there for the squat. I just got to work on that some more. Bench. So I started training again. That was 2021. January, I started benching lightly with like a Swiss bar. And kind of worked up from there. And then I just hit a 260 bench. It felt real good.
Nice.
This spring for the garage gym competition.
But you have invested basically. That was what I was really trying to pull out of it, that you've invested in buying a couple specialty bars, because like that's as I always anytime someone's over and like, why do you have so many of these specialty bars? Like, I pretty much every specialty bar that I have like has a story of like with about an injury. Like my back hurt or my elbow hurt, so I bought an SSB. Same thing kind of the Buffalo. It's like first time I bought a Swiss bar, I was dealing with like really bad tennis elbow and shit. So like every random bar I have, it's been a way to like work around injury, so I don't have to stop training. So I figured you would have probably added 2 or 3 bars to your collection, to work around all your injuries.
Yep, I actually bought a belt squat.
Nice.
Like May of that year. Excuse me. And then later on, just Titan had a sale on their SSB, so I bought one of those. It's a Bells of Steel Arch Nemesis bar. I bought it on a whim because it was new and cool. I'm like, hey, look at this. But I'd never really used it until my injury. Now it's primarily what I use for bench.
Nice. Yeah, it looks like it's a pretty close knockoff of the Cadillac bar. I've heard a lot of my friends have it, and for the $200 versus the $600, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Speaking of insane equipment, did any of you guys get the Alico 16-pound mug?
I was going to mention that. No.
I saw it. But no.
I got the ad and I was just like, I should get that. And then I saw the price and was like, yeah, I'm not getting that. Like, I just spent $200 on my kids back to school. It was $92. It looks great. It does. It looks great. Like, I don't know why they only did the limited run. They could sell a lot more of those. Yeah,
Big Luke of the Discord was able to get one of those.
I thought about it. My finger was on the button. I'm being honest with you.
Now, do you have to hook grip with that, or?
Oh, I don't.
Is that encouraged?
It does have some good knurling, but it would probably tear you up.
I don't hook grip, and then like it would too. Like, what do you do that? What's that weird grip that people do on squat? Like the 3-finger grip?
The
claw or something, right? Or talon, I think it's called.
The talon grip? Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Maybe. I think it sounds right, talon. So, Big Ryan, I hear you and I are kind of a kindred spirit as far as tell us about your music collection and how it is still a physical music collection.
I've got a 200-book CD right now. I'll go get.
Oh, nice.
And that's all. I think that's all 3 of us. Like, I've got every CD ever since I was 16.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So I still like buying physical media, mostly CDs, just because it's something I have and to hold, and it's not out there in the cloud somewhere, so someone can't just like yank it off and then I'm gonna listen to this album. Oh, it's not available anymore. So yeah. Mm-hmm. I typically just have it to rip it, and then I don't use that CD again. Or I guess I listen to it in the gym. So
not a big VHS guy.
Yeah.
Interestingly, my dad still has his 200 CD changer in the living room, but because of my kids constantly trying to destroy it, we had to like unplug it and hide it and everything. But he still got it, and I could feel it, and so could he. He still got all his too. And I stopped buying physical media a while ago. It's the thing called space saving or space taking technology. I prefer space saving technology, so I have everything on some cloud somewhere. But up until maybe 10 years ago, I bought everything physically. Not on vinyl though. Vinyl's insane.
So, Big Ryan, do you have a favorite PR song that you just have to use each time you're going for something big?
My friend and I kind of had this joke about Necrogobblecon, the Magic Spider. It's kind of a little musical song. It's kind of a fun song to PR too. Nice. Just
Necrogoblin is no, I'm not thinking of I'm thinking of somebody else. They have a Jägermeister song.
Okay.
All right. Well, I've got a quick game before overrated, underrated.
Let's have it.
But I'm going to tell you guys, it is going to replace the silly question of the week. If I'm being honest, the pressure of the silly question starting to get to me. So I won't be doing a lot of the the utter silliness of them until I feel like it. So that segment for now is dead. But Ryan, whenever you're ready, I have recently, maybe not so recently, but pretty recently read The History of Metal by Ian Christie.
Okay.
You know the book?
No.
Okay, so Ian Christie hosts a show on liquid metal on Sirius. He's written multiple books about just metal in general. So I wanted to ask you your opinion on some of these, because I know that you listen to a little more obscure metal than I do. I listen to canonical metal, what people to sell me. So I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a bonus question. And I want you to use your druthers and try and give me a little breakdown on why these bands are important to the history of heavy metal.
Oh.
Okay? So the first band is Slayer.
Slayer, I think. First of all, I think they're kind of overrated, just because it's.
I don't disagree.
It's they have some good songs, but overall, it's kind of there's not a lot of cohesiveness in their songs. I think, and a lot of just screaming. But a lot of people, well, yeah, it's all screaming, but obviously. A lot of people just really latch onto that sound and are like, hey, this is really extreme. I like this. I want to be that extreme guy listening to this stuff. And I think that kind of helped make them famous and propel other bands into the spotlight too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Next band, Metallica.
Was this an overrated, underrated, or?
Nope. This is
Okay,
why are they important to metal, or your feelings on them?
Yeah, I like them on the whole. Haven't listened to much of the newer stuff, but they were definitely one of the, I guess, early pioneers. I was kind of pretty approachable in their music and kind of spoke to that generation. Making me think real hard here.
That was the goal. Okay. The reason I brought those two up the way I did is, from what I understand, is Metallica did kind of break the mainstream.
Yeah.
By doing it kind of faster and better than anybody before them. And then Slayer did it faster than Metallica. And
faster.
Yeah, I wouldn't say better, because I do love Slayer, but speed doesn't always equal good, right?
True, yeah.
Okay, so tell me what Mayhem did for you, or music in general.
I was never really into Mayhem, but so they kind of kicked off the black metal thing. A lot of the like, I think it goes back to like the glam metal time. There was like the glam metal and the power metal stuff, and then people were like, oh, metal's kind of silly. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but Mayhem came along and they were very dead serious in what they did, and their sound was, yeah, they tried to be. And the whole, one of their members committed suicide and that whole thing, and
then the other one showed up. The other one showed up, found the body, and took pictures.
Yeah,
Jesus. And then he used that picture as their next album cover.
Correct. And took part of the skull apparently and sent it to people, and
yeah, I think that was that Euronymous?
Yeah.
That all sounds illegal as fuck.
Yeah, it was Norway at the time. Everything was great. Yeah, black metal. It's not real black metal unless it sounds like it was played on trash cans in a basement, right? Like,
right.
They get really weird about their house. But also, like, when you look at black metal from the outside with the corpse paint and the dancing in the woods and stuff like that, like, they're taking themselves seriously. But from out here,
yeah,
I don't think I can. All right, and then that led into, I think, something I brought up last week, which was Cradle of Filth. So Cradle of Filth is technically an off branch of black metal,
Yeah.
which is just glam black metal.
Yeah, I found out about Cradle of Filth when I went to Germany in 1997 or 8. No, it's 8.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Cradle of Filth is like, what if a pterodactyl sang heavy metal? Okay.
That would be Murph's worst fucking nightmare, huh? A flying dinosaur, a literal flying dinosaur. No amount of LARPing would help her mentally recover from seeing that fucker.
I've got 3 more questions for you. How important to metal was Pantera?
Pantera, yeah, I think they're pretty important. Kind of like Metallica and Slayer before them. They had a very kind of hardcore but approachable sound that people liked and kind of new and different at the time. They actually started out like a glam metal band.
Oh yeah, I've seen the pictures.
So, yeah. I'm just not good at characterizing people like this or bands. But
Well, that's all right. I don't think we'd have Lamb of God without Pantera, right? I think that
that's true.
If you look at that progression,
that groove metal sound and
yeah. Interestingly, my love of Jaeger, which will come up again later, comes from Vinnie Paul from Pantera, the drummer. Because when he joined Hell Yeah, which was another weird groove metal southern offshoot, they did a video, like they released a DVD of their tour. And also for those of you that don't know, Vinnie Paul also owned a strip club. So he went into a liquor store and he was just like, I'm going to buy $100 worth of Jaeger today. And then he filled his cart and then he was walking around and then he goes, nah, fuck it. I'm going to buy $200 worth of Jaeger. And he fills it with more Jaeger and then he walks around and he goes, no, that's it. We're going to go to $500 worth of Jaeger. So he just has all this Jaeger in his cart. And at the time, I was just a beer drinker and just doing like whatever shots people made. And I was like, well, now I want to try Jaeger. Fast forward to Rockstar. Was it Rockstar that did like the tour with all the bands? Hell Yeah was the headliner on the second stage. And I want to say Avenged Sevenfold and Stone Sour were on the main stage. And there was no way in hell I was sitting through Avenged Sevenfold. So I found my way to the Jaeger tent.
Okay.
And I sat in the Jaeger tent for 2 sets. Just hanging out with the Jaeger girls, just occasional Jaeger, talking, blah, blah, blah. And fucking Vinnie Paul walks in.
Nice.
So I got to do a shot with Vinnie Paul after he was the person that introduced me to Jaeger. It's a whole big thing there. But all right. Now here's a band that I'm wondering if you ever even heard of. Electric Callboy.
Oh yeah.
All right. What do you think about what they're doing right now? And did you know about them before the album Neon?
Probably not. No.
Okay. So tell us about what you're doing. Like, tell us what you think they're doing right now. And just then I'll give you kind of some insight into why you should do not look up their old stuff.
So they kind of have like a, what do you call it? Like a poppy rock sound, but also like heavy screaming metal and kind of like a very fun attitude about it. Very fun kind of party songs. I think it's attracting a certain kind of crowd that might be like off put by like the more serious bands of metal, kind of drawing them in.
I think if you're in the Discord crew and you're at all a fan of metal, you should be checking out the Silly Goose Times of Electric Callboy. They have a song called Pump It that's about working out, but it is, I guess, what you would call like a mix of Rammstein, as well as like way heavier. They have a song called Huracan, which is the first half of the song is a weird pop song, and this is the song that I found out about them from. And when you first hear it, you'd think this was like just the poppiest trash German techno you've ever heard. And then the last part of the song is the most brutal deathcore breakdown, complete with pig squeals and everything. And you're just like, what did I just listen to? And then you go deep into them. And yeah, if you get a chance to hear Electric Callboy and you're into Silly Goose heavy metal, you're not going to waste your time.
I have to check out there are other songs.
No, do not go into the past. Don't go listen to the previous episodes. Their previous stuff is like,
that seems to be a general theme with you, Joey. You fucker.
they're all their old stuff is really bad glim. Like it's like they were trying to be motionless and white but didn't have the talent. It was pretty bad. It wasn't until they realized they were silly gooses. All right. I did have one more, but I'll save that for overrated, underrated. You did tell me to hit you with some metal questions.
Hit a little hard. But
That's what we do here. We're the hard-hitting version of the podcast in the MCU. The Massonomics crew universe.
Oh yeah, callback. Parking. Yep. Yeah. I was reading something right when you said it. I was like, oh, I missed it. But I think before we get into overrated, underrated, I got one more I want to ask you, buddy. Why the hell are you so rude in Discord, and why are you keep running off everyone and making these chargebacks be a thing? Like, what is up with that?
Why are you scaring everybody?
Gotta keep our crew tight, gotta vet the new people, make sure they're tough enough to handle the crew. We're a very serious bunch of rough and tumble people.
If there's anything we are all gatekeepers. We definitely don't want anybody involved.
Especially the gatekeeping, yes.
I guess as a follow-up, I know what you're talking about, Keith. I did go back and read all the messages after our podcast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at it and just going like, yeah, that dude, he asked only about one or two things. He asked about the discount code multiple times, despite getting answered multiple times. And then he asked some like random like questions about form, I guess, or a supplement.
I think it was something like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then just bailed and like threw us all under the bus. And then
mostly Ryan.
Yeah.
So people wondering, he asked about if you should buy a headband or a hat. And of course the standard answer is no hats.
Buy our hats, yeah.
Don't buy a hat. And that's what my response was. And the hat bot backed me up on that. So yeah, that's my extent of interactions with them. So it was.
And then okay, completely separate story. Based on that, some other crew joined, and I just simply made the joke, great, another crew closer to chargebacks. Which is a harken back to another day closer to Mondays.
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious if you've been around for a while. Not so funny if you're brand new to the Discord. And that guy messaged me.
Oh wow.
I was like, what does that mean? And I was like, oh no. I had that panic. I was like, this isn't about you, man. And I like give him a backstory on like all the jokes that led up to that one little line. And then I was just like, so if that guy bails, that one's on me, I guess.
Good job, you jerk.
You really do have to start paying attention in there. Like, there's so many new faces, and like a lot of them are like pretty actively talking too. And I'm just like, but it does go back to the whole. I think Kevin recently changed his avatar on there. Or there is another new Kevin with like a different handle, because like it was like, is that our Kevin or is that a new Kevin? Because I can't tell. And I think there's another Paul now, like Paul number 2. I was talking to him about hanging up how to. Yeah, I think with Paul 2. So someone DM'd me asking me how to attach the weight storage to a concrete wall, and I had a whole conversation with them. So it's weird, like it's weird talking to new crew, because I feel like most interactions we have with people that like you've been like a voyeur and have seen for years, and then like now like most of us know everybody, but then when you like have the whole new conversation with someone you haven't talked to before, and like you have no reference who they are on Instagram, or if you're friends with them on Instagram, it's just like it's like it almost feels alien in there. So that's my biggest fear, is if that like, what's the magic number where that Discord becomes like to where we're not relevant anymore because there's so many people, and like shit just goes, like everything gets missed, and only like half of what you say ever gets seen by more than a couple people, because there's just so many people in there. I don't know. But
I'm not worried about that. Like, I'm not John Cena here with a golden shovel. I'm not going to start burying people so that I look better. But I think that I do have to be a little careful in making sure that when I make jokes, I don't have an assumed familiarity with strangers,
Makes
and
sense.
that they are all right, like that's, it sounds like you're kidding, but now I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to do that. That's also part of my job too, is I get messages all the time from people that aren't even on my team, but it's just because they need help with something. But because I am active in like group chats and everything like that, they're like, well, this guy knows things. So they'll message you and you're just like, I don't want to, it's not my job to help you. It's your manager's job to help you. But am I going to let you suffer because of that? No. So I do feel like that's kind of going to be our role. We're going to end up being, we're going to end up being the elders. And even if we disappear, we'll still always be there. Right. So,
I just feel like as a new crew, it's almost like just watch for like a week. Like I wouldn't even I wouldn't say shit in there for at least 7 days, and I'd get on there and I'd spend at least 10-15 minutes trying to read everything in every channel.
yeah.
It's the only way you'd be able to get any kind of like feel for the dynamic, because there's regulars that only post once a week, but like they've been crew for 3 years and there's like still like one of like the upper, like they're a very known commodity, but they might not say much very often. So you just kind of you gotta watch the whole damn page for at least a week or two before you can even get a gist of what's going on. I feel.
Yeah, let people do themselves.
That's true.
It's a safe space. We don't talk about anything serious. We're not here attacking your right to exist by any means or in any way. And if we say something that you just kind of like feel is, just ask. Like if you're new to the crew and you're listening to this, just ask, man. There isn't a single scary person of those 350 people. And worst case Ontario, ask Tanner. What did Joey mean when he sent this? What does this joke mean? Like if he's the safest guy you can ask, just don't fucking turn whitetail and run. Like don't right? Like I think if anybody's got you, it's the Discord crew of Massonomics.
Just don't ask Brian. That's like the one guy I'd probably steer clear of. This.
Yeah, he'll
at
say
least
don't buy our hats, and then you'll go,
No hats.
the bastard. All right.
all right, do you want to play underrated, overrated? Do you want to
Sure, what's that?
you want to do something? It's this game we like to play with everybody that we learned from some guys in the schoolyard. Essentially, we're going to ask you some handpicked questions for you, and you essentially have to tell us if you think they are overrated or underrated. You, of course, have your druthers to decide on that answer, but ultimately, you got to pick a side. There's no riding the line. You can choose if they are overrated to the world or underrated to you. Keith, as usual, why don't you take the first three?
Let's see, what do we got here? So, Big Ryan, don't ride the line, buddy. What is your opinion? Overrated, underrated? Boating.
Like the old adage, it's better to know somebody with a boat than to own your own boat.
I say the same thing about dogs. I'm glad my neighbor has one.
So we go to my mother-in-law's cabin in Minnesota for over the 4th of July usually, and she has a pontoon boat and a speedboat. And the past 2 years have not been good for me in the speedboat. Last year, the water pump went out with me in the middle of the lake. I was just kind of cruising around a little bit, slow speed. I'm like, it smells kind of hot. What's going on? Look at the temperature gauge. That's pegging. I'm like, okay, what do I do now? So I shut it off and had to get towed back to the dock and was able to get a person next day and fix it, but just kind of like, oh, okay, cool. And then this year, we got there Saturday, took the boat out. It's fine. Took the boat out Sunday morning. It's fine. I went to go take the boat out Sunday afternoon, start the boat up, put in reverse to get it off the lift. Nothing. Like, okay, put it forward. Nothing. Like, is it not going in the gear? What's going on here? And screw with the transmission a little bit, pull the motor out of the water, and the prop is gone. Like, what?
Gone?
It's just gone. So yeah, I jump in the water, found the prop. Apparently the cotter pin had worked itself out or something. So that let the nut unscrew itself and everything kind of fell off. Luckily it was at the dock and not like in the middle of the lake somewhere, because then we've had to buy a whole prop and all that too. But it was just kind of interesting experience, I guess. So very overrated, I think.
Yeah, I got a really good kick out of the whole. I think there was a few of us had some good fun making some memes about you and the prop and the missing nut and just voting in general this summer. So that was why that was specially picked for you this week. So my second one for you this week will be: how do you feel, overrated or underrated, push button vehicle starts?
That from Big Jen.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, I was a designated driver after the zoo. We get to our car. I'm like, "Can I have your keys?" They're like, "Oh, you don't need the keys. It's push button start." I'm like, "Okay." So we get in the car and I go start it, and it's like nothing. I'm like, I've owned 2 push button start cars. I know how to do this. So I'm like pushing the brake and push the thing and nothing. And I'm like, what's going on here? So I just finally just jam my foot on the brake and push the button again and it starts up. So
I vaguely remember
I don't
that.
know.
I
Yeah.
vaguely remember that. Like we're all going, just do it. Just like push the button.
How did you draw the short straw to be DD that weekend?
I don't know. I'm just not a big drinker in general anymore. So just kind of like, yeah, I'll let you guys have fun and Chevy goes home. So
Well, there you go. I'm sure several people appreciated that, because that was definitely I feel like it was a concern for a lot of people. It's like, how do I not get a DUI this weekend and
yeah.
ruin my fucking life? So that was a very good, very commendable of you.
I distinctly remember just saying, I'll figure it out, man. Like Aberdeen's not that big. I can walk from the zoo to the hotel and it's like it's an hour. And I was like, buddy, I've walked longer than that. Like I was so unconcerned about how I was getting around. It was really funny that yeah, there were some people that were really concerned. And then it was at some point, Ryan, I think I was on his I think you had 1 drink and then you were on your half a drink after that in 3 hours. Everybody was like, he's our driver and he's having one. And I was like, I'd like relax. And it was pretty funny too. We're just like, but yeah, everybody's like, we gotta go. We all flooded out after me and Jen did our second round, I think, of Midwest goodbyes. And he took us back to the hotel, and yeah, it was a fun time.
Everybody got their one piece, and yeah, good night.
Yeah, 0 issues.
Well, except starting the car.
That was an issue thrice. The 4th time got it.
Fourth time's a charm. All right. Well, my third and final for you this week, Big Ryan, is going to be peas. What do you feel about peas?
Hate them.
You hate peas. How do you hate peas?
They're gross. The mouthfeel is pop in your mouth, and just the general taste of them is gross.
Mouthfeel. I was waiting for the phrase mouthfeel to show up on this fucking podcast.
I've never heard it. That's like is it a feel you feel in your mouth?
It's a foodie said. It's a foodie phrase. I think the first time I heard it, I was listening to some fucking hipster talk about some drink or something. And then they were like, this has really good mouth feels. And I made a face. And I think my wife was like, you've never heard that? I'm like, no. And I hate it. I hate the word mouthfeel.
I do get what he's saying though. Like a pea can be like you bite into it and then it almost becomes 2 things. It's like
it's great.
The mushy inside, and then you have the skin you got to chew on the other side of your mouth.
Yeah, it's like a sunflower seed. It's energy you work for.
Yeah, but if it's in something like fried rice, I'll eat it. I don't care that much. But if it's like just a bunch of peas, no.
No, oh no, totally. Oh no, okay, I'm there too. I love peas, but I use my mashed potatoes to eat them. Right? Like you need a conduit to get them onto your fork. You can't just eat peas. Although there is a Portuguese, maybe this might help you out. There's a Portuguese recipe for peas that involves like peas and mint. They're called like mighty peas or macho peas or something like that. They're the only ways I've ever eaten peas raw. It's just like minty peas.
No, it's happening.
Oh, guess where we're going next time you're up here?
So everyone, mail Big Ryan frozen peas. This coming week, and
then they'll be frozen when you get there. Yeah.
But they're good for injuries,
Yeah, they're good for injuries. Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna ask anybody that question.
that actually is really good. I didn't even. I actually missed that when you said it. So that's
All right, I guess my turn. I've got a few to choose from, and some I might even just add. Overrated or underrated Canadian cigars. And this is because I just want some feedback on those cigars we bought together.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Canada has this big anti-smoking thing. If they put smoking's bad for you on the package, and people won't smoke, and they think that the colorful cigar bands will entice you to smoke them. So they cover them with a wrapper. Yeah. It's just plain brown.
Yeah, we have unmarked cigars.
Yep.
Plain green, just has their name on it. But I meant like the ones that you and I bought. How did you?
Oh,
because you had never tried those before, and I was just like, "Let's go, And I think you ended up grabbing a couple extra.
Yeah, I got one or two of those. Those are pretty good. House tour, yeah.
So
had some nice spice to them. They're underrated.
Underrated.
I would definitely buy those again.
And also, we can get Cubans up here.
Overrated.
A lot easier than you can. Actually, that was on here at first, and I changed it. Interestingly, I think my first time in the United States, I went to San Francisco and I was staying at the Fairmont, and I had brought cigars. Of course, I'm fine. Whatever, I checked the bag. It didn't matter. They don't care, right? Because they're Canadian cigars. But there's a cigar shop in the Fairmont in San Francisco, and I go in, and the guy goes, "Oh, hey, we're one of the oldest cigar shops in San Francisco, blah, blah, blah." And he says, we have this deal that if you buy one of my pre-embargo Cuban cigars, you'll get a sifter of brandy, and then you can smoke it in our cigar room. And I went, okay, I'm kind of interested because I felt like having a cigar. And they had cigars, and their Cuban cigars, pre-embargoes, were $500 or more. And I looked at the guy and I said, I'm Canadian. That's a $25 cigar in Canada. And then he was like, well, we can't do that here. And I was like, no, I understand. But I think your sales pitch didn't work. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, man. Can I pay you a cutting fee and smoke the ones I brought? And then he was like, no, you can't do that. So I just left. But yeah, Canadian cigars are, I don't smoke Cubans generally, but yeah, we don't have to go through that crap. All right. I got two more.
Yep.
Overrated or underrated? Gravel. Not pea gravel. Gravel on the road.
Gravel on the road. Just in reference to something, or?
Probably.
Oh, my car?
Mm-hmm.
Overrated.
See, I thought you got shot at.
What's that?
I thought you got shot at. That's the message I sent you. So was that a bullet hole?
Oh, yeah. I got like a rock chip on my bumper on my car. Which goes along with the big scrape I got somewhere. I'm not sure where that came from, but definitely kind of overrated.
All right. And last but not least, overrated or underrated? Nu metal.
Nu metal? I don't really mind it that much. I'm very bad with genres in general, but there's a lot of bands I like. They're nu metal, like Mudvayne. Weren't they like nu metal back then? And I like their stuff, and I think it's, let's say underrated. Just to be that guy.
I think it's unfairly shit on.
Unfair. Yeah, there we go.
And how do you feel about deathcore?
I like it. I'm not like Frank hating on that. So yeah.
I hate it so much. I agree with him 90% of the time. I hate the Misfits and I hate the Beatles. Sorry to anybody listening. They all suck. The Eagles suck. Get over it. But then he's like, I hate deathcore. And I'm just like, nope. Gonna disagree.
Yeah,
it has its space and time.
There's a lot of great bands out there. So
And sorry, so do those other bands. Like they have their place in time.
Yeah.
But like the Beatles
I like the Eagles, man. I do. The Beatles are the most overrated band of all time, but I like the Eagles.
The Beatles are a boy band, and I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna put it into the world in recording. The Beatles are a boy band. And if they were recording today, you would hate them and compare them to the Backstreet Boys because they were marketed towards young women. And that's what they were back then. They were throwing their panties on the stage. They were a boy band who then years later, a bunch of like rock guys were like, oh, wait, this is actually good. We're just going to take this from young women and then just say they were a great rock band. But no, they were the Backstreet Boys of their time. And the Eagles suck too. Sorry. No, the Eagles suck.
There's 2 or 3 Eagle songs I really enjoy, but a lot of it's just nostalgia. Like
that doesn't make them a good band.
No, well, yeah, and that's why I wanted to get the caveat of like I couldn't like I don't know, have no clue how many albums they've had, but I could like 3 songs will be in my infinity playlist. Brief while we're touching on music and like throwing panties on stage and whatnot. Have either of you guys watched the Elvis movie that came out last year?
It was amazing.
It was very good. It was like surprisingly really, really, really good. So go ahead and do yourself a favor and watch that, Big Ryan.
Not anywhere near as good as Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. Walk Hard is the greatest music biopic of our time. All right. Well, I think you passed overrated, underrated. I was going to ask how you feel about Jaeger because I don't know if you noticed. They commented on our photo there.
Yes, yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, they're I don't know if I should be proud of it or not, but I am like on a first name basis with their social media team. So I'm trying to get I'll put this in the universe. I'm trying to get a Jaeger lifting team thing going.
I'm down with that.
I desperately want it. I don't know if they're even allowed to do it in Canada because there's really strict rules on what controlled substances can do. Right, like cigarettes can't advertise. Like booze, I don't think can advertise anymore in certain industries. So maybe I'll just make my own Jaeger lifting club shirt and try not to get sued. But I'm pushing for it. One day we'll get Jaeger Fitness.
Can they sponsor podcasts that are kind of have dual citizenships though? We have one sponsor right now. We're always looking for anyone else that wants to contribute so we can up our Google Cloud storage so we don't have to delete all our episodes every couple of weeks.
They reply to me, they respond to me, except for when I mention the Jaeger lifting club. It's like they're just like, we're not allowed to talk about that. So it'll happen one day. It'll be like the Little Debbie's one, but for metalhead lifters. All right, you passed overrated, underrated.
Very nice.
I think it's your turn. What do you want to know about us? You don't already know. Oh, he's checking the spreadsheets. Fucking spreadsheets.
Yeah.
Podcast.
I think he's playing with this now. Are you playing with your calculator that Big Tyler was talking about the other day? He had a nice rant about. Did you guys see that?
No.
What's the really expensive calculator, the graphing calculator that you have to buy in high school or like middle school, or whatever? The Western is
the TI Texas Instruments.
Yes. So he shared like 2 or 3 like stories about how like it's a big scam because it's like $100 calculator that like you literally could use your phone and do a better job with, and how it's just a racket because he like it was basically like they're forcing families to spend millions of dollars across the world annually.
Big calculator, man. Big calculator coming after you.
Yeah, like an out-of-date product. So I got a kick out of that when I read it. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember having to buy that calculator and like using it like twice.
My calculator kind of destroyed my math skills, so that's all on the calculator. This one's for Keith. Have you explained what the 73 is in your name before?
I'm not sure if I have, but I will. It is, so it's twofold. My high school football number from sophomore to senior year was 73. And then it was also the road that I lived on, ironically. So it always is kind of, that number will eternally live in my heart because, some of the happiest times of my life was, playing football in high school. And, that's where I lived for, my whole adolescence was on Route 73. So that number will I was not born in 1973, like like some of the other crew might have been, but no, it's just my football number.
That would be a safe assumption. If you saw the 73 in anybody's name, that would be a
Yeah.
safe assumption.
That would make me like.
But then if they knew anything about you, they would know it's not.
That would make you what, 50?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd be over 60.
No. What? Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, 50, 70. I'd be old.
73 to 2003 would be 30. Yeah, over 50. So closer to 60 because we're in 2003. So
yeah, I'd be old.
You're about 50. I'm an athlete, not a mathlete.
Well, yeah.
Nope, not that one did not land great. Athlete, not a mathlete, dicks.
I gotta pee, man. That's all I can think about.
So do I. Hit me.
How about a silly question?
Okay.
If you were a fruit, what kind of fruit would you be? The kind that you eat, not, other things.
That's what I assumed you meant.
So I was kind of thinking it might be like a durian because it's kind of smelly and people aren't like too sure about it, but the people that like it. So
I don't know what he just said.
A durian?
Oh, durian.
What is that?
It's an Asian fruit.
It's a durian. Come on, Keith.
It sounds like a Game of Thrones character.
It does too, doesn't it?
You're just ruining my whole bit.
I smell it. I know things.
It's a famously smelly fruit that some people really like, and other people are like, "No, it's gross." And anyway,
Gotcha.
I would be a dragon fruit, because I have a lot of flair and I look really pretty, but actually don't taste like anything, and I'm really bland.
Okay.
My jokes aren't landing. These are the jokes. These are the jokes, guys.
How do you know what you taste like?
I'd be banana. I'd be banana because I like dicks. Like, what do you want from me?
Well, so in response to your joke, I can say IJ Bowl. IJBOL.
No.
Now I'm getting confused. Alex. That's the new slang that kids are using these days. So we have to appropriate it so they hate it, so they don't use it.
Oh, make it ironic because
I just burst out laughing. I don't know if it's a real thing or if
that's not. That
just
can't
the
be
memes
a real thing.
The memes are saying they're real. So
I hate new fucking egg slang. It's so annoying.
So anyway, what kind of fruit would you be, Keith?
I think the obvious choice has got to be I would say an orange, but according to Joey, oranges aren't fruits. So I don't know.
Whoa! I never said that.
No, it's got to be. What was the?
They're not berries. Certain things aren't berries. That doesn't make them not fruit. Because anything that technically grows off of a vine or a plant is a fruit.
I got that mixed up. So
those are fruits.
I don't know. I think I have to. Without hold on. You give me like a week to think about it. I'd probably come up with something intellectual and like relevant and witty. But I guess you got to go with an orange in general.
There's no weeks in the jungle.
No.
The orange glaze went with an orange.
That's what I expected.
You're right. It was berries, not oranges, that threw me off.
So hair, overrated or underrated?
Overrated.
Overrated. Well, so head hair overrated. I do like facial hair to an extent, but I would be okay with being what are the completely bald people? I can't think of the medical term.
Bald?
Alopecia?
Yeah. Like that. No, alopecia. Like you literally don't have eyebrows or anything. Like take so like no hair or just like a freaking overly hairy. Like I don't know what would be worse. I guess overly hair, or I guess you could always shave, but damn, like alopecia. I vaguely remember I went to high school with a kid that had alopecia, and I did feel bad for him because a lot of people this was fucking, people were assholes when we were kids. So, I guess, but hair in general, yeah, overrated.
I once joked that if I had my friend's hairline, I could take over the world. But since I don't have it anymore, it's overrated.
What about you, Ryan? You're one of the few guys that so clearly you have a receding hairline that I think goes all the way back to your ass crack. But
damn,
I know, coming out with the attacks. You can tell he's got to pee.
You're still rocking the side head here. You don't.
Well, You're appropriating our ball culture, so you can't talk.
I know, I
Oh, here
do.
we
I have the thickest damn I like keeping my head hair short.
So-
my hair just keeps getting thicker and longer as I age. It's very annoying. But I'll flip that on you though. Do you ever take it all? Do you ever take your sides all the way down and like pick it or anything, or do you like having like that feel of hair like above your ears?
I've never bicked it, but I used to not have it as short as I have it now, and it like would poof up like right if the bald spot looked terrible. So looking back at old pictures, I'm like, oh man, you should have shaved your head just a long time ago. Just so I can't regret doing that. But I've shaved it pretty close, but not like all the way.
I don't like going down to the wood
Yeah,
because then it starts to grow in and you start sticking to your pillows. You put on a hood and then you got it velcros to the hood of to the fluff of your hood.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I hate
Oh
that.
yeah,
shit.
yeah. I always call it the dingleberries inside of the hoodie that just gets stuck on your freshly shaved head.
That's not what that means.
That's close enough. It's still when I say
you
it
don't say
makes
it in
sense.
public. I got dingleberries on my head. Somebody's
Well,
gonna be like, "What are you up to before you
the
came here?"
dingleberries are the part on the hoodies, like because that's the sign that's always the sign of how shitty the hoodie is. If it's not like double lined and has like a good hood, you can always tell it's just a lower quality. Did you ever rock the comb mode for Ryan when you were like when you still had when you weren't fully gone there?
No, not really.
Gotcha. So I didn't mean to keep harping on your hair. I was just
It's very personal.
I can't believe you did that to our guest tonight.
I'm not going to come back.
I was the guy that did the chargeback,
Chargebacks.
Charge back, yeah.
It was me. I made a burner Discord account, and you just offended me so much that I had to do the chargeback, and this was my way of getting back at you.
That's all I got.
That's all you got? Okay.
But it was really good. We appreciate that. I always like it when it's more than just the one. So,
Yeah.
to all the upcoming guests, try to have a handful for us if you can. I mean, just burn right through them quick.
All right. Well, that brings us in. Well, you've been listening to the Unpaid and Underrated podcast. I'm going to assume by this point, if you're listening, you know where to find us. Find us on Instagram. Find us at unpaidinternpodcast.com. Find us on your favorite streaming platforms. Find us on Discord. Find us at themasonomics.com/join Discord. I'm Big Joey. I have been doing this for far too long and have to pee. Where can we find you guys?
Big Keith on to get 73 on Instagram. Go follow my Orange Gym, the No Wine Cellar. What about you, Big Ryan?
Big_Ryan on the Discord or Angry Monkey on Instagram.
The Angry Monk with a 0, right?
Yes.
Angry Monk. You make
Monkey.
Monk mad. Monkey.
Monkey.
All right. Well, that about does us in, guys. Keith?
All right, boys. We will go ahead and see you next Tuesday.